Trojan Felly, what's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. Listen, I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, happy Monday to everybody. Listen, it is really go time this week. This is Michigan week, and it's a big game, man. Listen, I don't care how bad people, how bad people think that Michigan is playing. I think that this is going to be a defining game for the USC football Trojans. And you guys know, you guys came on my live. I had a live Saturday, just kind of did a college football recap, what took place over the weekend in college football. And there was some things that, some very interesting things. Of course, I talked about one of them being Oregon. It looked like they kind of found their game just a little bit. But then the Utah State game, Utah versus Utah State. That was a really interesting game, given the fact that USC really blew Utah State out. And I think that USC really did some things that I think that we could take away from that game, that we can kind of come over to this game and really implement as well. And what I mean by that is Utah had a running quarterback who they call a pig farmer. You guys know Barnes. He played against USC last year and tore us up pretty good. However, USC with the Anton Lynn, the new defensive scheme. Of course, you guys know what he did at UCLA. You know what he's done for us in a couple of games. Only averaging about 10 points a game right now, which equates up. I gotta look at the new defensive statistics, which equates up to was 27th in the country, but now I'm sure it's moved up, given that some teams allowed more points. But we were able to contain them. We were able to contain Utah State, and I watched that Utah game against Utah State. Man, Utah State was actually very effective running the ball. They were effective doing a lot of things. They showed a lot of explosive plays, and I think that USC, now that we're going over to Michigan, I think that we're going to face possibly a similar style quarterback in Alex Orji. Their quarterback, Davis Warren. We'll just talk about the quarterback situation because you guys see it here in the title. Michigan QB problems continue. And excuse me, they had a quarterback, Davis Warren, who was the starter, and a guy that has pretty much been moving and grooving for him, but it's been kind of having some complications. You guys know they're just coming off a win from Arkansas State, who some say that they should have blew them out easily. Michigan won that game at home 28-18, and Arkansas State really was able to do some things as far as on the defensive side of the ball, cause a little bit of confusion. Davis Warren had 3 INTs. I think one guy, a big linebacker, actually had like a pick 6. And so I think Davis Warren was actually pulled. And so he will no longer, I don't think, be the start. I'm not sure if this is confirmation yet. I can't confirm that yet. But it's a possibility that he won't even be the starter for this Saturday. So we might be looking at another quarterback that's kind of similar to Barnes, which is a guy named Alex Orji. And he stepped in and he did play the final 3 drives. So I think that, this is an ongoing situation for Michigan. And it's surprising, very surprising, just given the fact that, you're talking about a team that came off a national championship. And, USC, even though we hadn't came off a national championship in some time, one of the things that, we've always been known for was having a decent quarterback. That's why when you see a guy like Caleb Williams, was able to leave, and now we had a next man up, which was Miller Moss. Miller Moss is absolutely moving and grooving on a whole nother level. Speaking of Caleb Williams, I may touch on that. You guys know I covered the night before. I just finished watching the Chicago Bears versus the Texans game. Man, it was a rough one for Caleb, but that's a whole nother story. But look, man, I think that USC can absolutely, and whatever direction they go in, Orji, like I said, he's more of a running style quarterback. And I think USC, we could do some things to confuse him. I think they'll, with him, it's going to be, when he's throwing it, it's going to be some more rolling out type stuff opposed to just standing there in the pocket. I don't think that's his strength, standing in the pocket. More rolling out is what he does. Now, the other guy, yeah, he will stand in the pocket, but then he makes some indecisive decisions. And I think that's where Michigan has found trouble. But listen, if it's going to be more of a run game or a running rollout type of game, I think they're going to be trying to impose their will with that offensive line. And I think, like I said before, as I stated with LSU, now I do think LSU was the best offensive line we possibly faced all year long, and that we were going to face all year long. So I think that we could be okay there from a defensive perspective. We could scheme up some stuff. I think D'Anton Lynn will scheme up some stuff to create some problems. But I know that we will have to contain the edge, absolutely contain the edge. When you're talking about a rollout quarterback, because they probably run some misplays, some bootleg stuff, some quarterback rollouts, all kinds of stuff that, look, we don't want to be lost in the sauce when you're talking about this Michigan quarterback, Alex Orji, who is more of a run type of quarterback. So you guys can hit me in the comment section. You guys can tell me what you think. I got a couple of numbers here. I just wanted to go over what you just talked to you about. I started talking about Michigan yesterday, and I told you some of the guys that, we really need to look at, especially from a defensive perspective, was Josiah Stewart, who is the edge guy. That was one guy. And then, of course, Will Harris, the big-time cornerback. And then those two defensive tackles, man, Mason Graham and the guy that's right next to him. Those guys are all absolute beasts. But when you look at from the average, I'm just going to do some stuff, some numbers as it relates to the Big Ten, because this is where it's at. Average numbers of turnovers committed per game in the Big Ten through Week 10. And Michigan is at the top, man. They're at the top at 2.3. Michigan State is 2. UCLA is 2. Purdue is 1.5. Northwestern is 1.34. Wisconsin is 1.34. Penn State is 1. Nebraska is 1. Oregon is 1. Minnesota is going to be 3. Is going to be 0.67. Iowa 0.67. Rutgers 0.5. And then you see USC coming in at number 12, 0.5. And then Washington at 0.34. Illinois 0.34. Maryland is going to be 0.34. Ohio State 0. Indiana 0. So look, USC is at the bottom of this list, which is a good deal when you're talking about average numbers of turnovers committed per game. We don't want to be on that side of the candle right there, man. We want to be at the bottom of the barrel of that. So I think USC is moving and grooving on that aspect. When you're talking about Big Ten leaders in offensive scoring rate, check this one out. Number one is going to be at 75%. It's going to be Indiana. They're 75%. They're leading the whole Big Ten right now at their offensive production rate, scoring rate. Number 2 is going to be USC at a 68.4. Right now, USC is absolutely moving and grooving when you're talking about on the offensive end. Ohio State is going to be 3rd at 63.6%. Rutgers is going to be 4 at 61.9. Illinois is going to be 58.6. Washington is going to be 53.6. Nebraska is going to be 50%. Minnesota 50. Oregon 50. Penn State 50. And then Maryland is going to be 48. So look, USC is absolutely moving and grooving. When you're talking about the offensive scoring rate, we're right there at this number 2 spot at 68.4%. So I think USC is in a heck of a spot right now when you're talking about that aspect of it. Also, when you're looking at the average numbers of turnovers committed, yeah, I've already did that one. Let me get this one real quick, and I'm gonna get out of here. Average number of turnovers committed per game in the Big Ten through Week 10. Yeah, that's the same list. So look, man, I wanted to just touch on that. That's the quarterback situation. I think USC. I think we can do some things. I think we're going to scheme up some things. You guys know I talked to you guys about a couple of things that I think we need to do from an offensive standpoint. We have to establish that run big time. Establish that run, and it's going to create a whole lot of other things in this particular game. Now, I saw this yesterday, which is the AP poll, and this is the most lost in the sauce poll right there. I can't even believe it, but let's go over it together, man. This is the AP poll. They really, I'm not even gonna say lost in the sauce like that, but they really kept us the same. But you see Texas number 1 now, Georgia's number 2. Georgia absolutely needs to be moved to number 2. Ohio State 3, Alabama 4, Ole Miss 5. You see, it's very, very SEC heavy. You know that. Number 6 is going to be Tennessee. All this is SEC. 7 is Missouri. 8 is going to be Miami. 9 is going to be Oregon. And then Penn State is going to be 10. Super heavy. And then 11, you're going to have USC. Utah is going to be 12. Kansas State, 13. 14 is Oklahoma State. 15 is going to be Oklahoma. LSU, 16. Notre Dame is 17. Michigan, 18. And so, who is that? Louisville. Louisville is going to be 19. Iowa State is 20. And then you got Clemson, 21. Nebraska, 22. Northern Iowa, Northern Illinois, 23. Illinois, 24. And then Texas A&M, 25. So that is the top 25, man. You guys can hit me on that. What you guys think about that? I'm comfortable where we at. The coaches poll kind of did us dirty. They put USC right at number 13, if I'm not mistaken. But listen, what happens this weekend really controls a lot. So we really don't have to worry about a whole lot of anything. Just control what happens this weekend, and USC will be in some great shape. So you guys keep me in the comments. You guys tell me what you think. There were several people hit me on Twitter. They were hot about it. But, hey, man, listen, this is all we could do, man. They are very, very biased. And I think that as long as we take care of business, we good. Now, as I close, wanted to touch on Caleb Williams, man. He, I just finished watching the game. As I stated, I do this the night before, and it was a very rough game. It was a rough game on him. He had a lot of pass rush. I mean, the offensive line wasn't holding up. But there were some things that I saw that he could have did as far as get rid of the ball a little quicker. But I think it's a learning process. It's all about learning, man. He's in the next level. These are different athletes, and the running around thing is not going to be able to be done. You can't do it there. This is the NFL. These dudes are monsters. But Caleb will figure it out. I'm confident that he will figure it out. So hit me in the comment section, man. You guys tell what you think. I am out of here, man. You guys already know where you can find me. It's USCJ32 on Instagram, USCJ32 on Twitter. Listen, let me know. What do you guys think about the quarterback situation, the quarterback play? Up in the air right now. Who would you rather have, Orgy or Ward, the other one? Hit me in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm out of here. Happy Monday to everybody. Everybody stay blessed. Fight on, fight on, fight on.